All right, what's up, y'all? My name's Tim Ream. I'm here today on the 81st day of the spring cut. Going to be doing chest and calves today. Going to switch up exercises and not really exercises, but just kind of add a little bit of a variation to the movement. And I feel like it gives you better contraction at the end. It's going to be some cable crossovers rather than just kind of regular cable flies. Just kind of playing around with the movement. I feel like if you kind of go into more of a crossed ending in that movement, I guess is what I'll say, I feel like you can get a better contraction. So we're going to throw those in there. And so basically I went through the 75 hard program. You have to do two 45-minute workouts. So basically the footage that I've had for the last 75 days has been pretty long. I am going to change the format up. I'm going to start making those a little bit more concise. I'll do a little bit more editing, try to make sure you guys' time is well spent here. I didn't start this process knowing exactly how it would unravel. I just kind of started and I've been sorting things out from there. I'm asking you just kind of hang out and all of this stuff's going to get better. I'll get my editing better, all that stuff. So I appreciate you guys following along with me. I've got everything set up, so we're going to get right into the workout here. We're going to start with a standing cable fly, but I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to do it as kind of a crossover just to get a little bit more of a contraction at the end. We're gonna keep in a deep stretch position and pause out for, probably 2 or 3 seconds. I don't know, just enough to where I can really feel it stretching. Introduce that burn and just kind of really stay in the midst of that movement. Just try to really get the most out of it. So we're gonna get started here.
They're not just their skills. We have to practice them on a daily basis. We have to find out ways to make them work for us. So many people sit and rot because they're out here dreaming all these dreams, but they never execute, which creates this vacuum of unhappiness where they can't escape it. Like, dude, you're unhappy, bro, because you have all these huge dreams and you have all these goals and you never execute. And so that creates this torturous existence that you can't move through. And dude, it's your favorite saying. You sent me this amazing painting that hangs in my office at home. It says one thing. It says 3 words on it. What's it say? What is up, guys? Andy Priscilla, and this is the show for the realistic about the lies, the biggest delusions of modern society. Welcome. Reality, guys. Today we have Andy and DJ Cruise the Internet. That's what we're going to do. That's what CTI stands for. Cruise the Internet. That's what we're going to do.
Okay, kind of light on the cable crossover. Actually, in my mind, I was thinking more of whenever I get over to just regular, doing it especially like kind of more of a bent over position. That cable crossover would be probably a little bit more effective. I feel like I can get a better squeeze and all that stuff, just kind of pausing out at the end and flexing. So it's going to kind of keep with the same range of motion. One thing I am going to probably try, now that I've kind of started really pausing out at the end, is doing this incline movement, these flies, on a incline bench, just to keep my back more stable. Typically I do the standing just to kind of, once I get to the point of failure, I can kind of do a little bit of rocking to get a few extra motions since I don't have a spotter or whatever. But I'm going to try it on that just to kind of see if I feel like I can get any more isolation on the top of that chest there. So with this, we're just doing a couple warm-up sets, probably 2 or 3, going to go based on feel. We're going to be pyramiding up, working to our highest, heaviest set. I'm going to find that weight that I can do for the most reps and the heaviest, and then drive that one home. So that's really what we're doing right now, just doing a little pre-exhaustion and working our way up to that heavy set. Just kind of starting out with lighter weight. And not really worrying about the weight, worrying more about the range of motion and the movement and the squeeze, contraction, just making sure I'm really good and isolated. So I'm really not concerned with the weight right now, but more concerned with just giving the movement our all and it being a quality movement. Once I get into more of my bulking phase, and I'm going to start doing, there is going to be more of an accentuation on strength and strength increases, and I am going to start really pushing heavier weight for lower reps. But this cutting phase, at this point, I'm pretty deep into the caloric deficit, and there just ain't a whole lot of strength gains. I'm just worrying about maintaining what I've got and kind of going through the motions on some of this stuff. But all right.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing them. Please share the show. Don't be a hook. Share the show. Chad, what's up, dude?
Holy crap, man.
I know.
Had a ball-busting workout this morning, dude.
Did you?
With the first form team.
Now, somebody told me there was a little drama amongst the workout.
Well, there always is, man. That's why we train, right?
Yeah.
That's why we train, dude. Is to expose our freaking weakness.
Uh-huh.
We train hard. We freaking grind. Because I don't care how good you think you are, Andy, there's some chinks in your armor.
That's a fact.
Same with me, dude.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of switched up my workouts already. I was starting out with really heavy bench movements over here on the machine for incline, but I've kind of been pre-exhausting with some more isolated stuff. So whenever I go over to the heavier movements, I feel like it actually is bearing down more on the part that I just pre-exhausted. So kind of still messing with and experimenting with some of the progressions of these workouts and staggering them in a way that I feel like is still the most beneficial and most effective. So definitely still doing that. This is just one of those things you kind of got to sort out for yourself, and you just got to get in here to do it. Trial and error. What do my strength gains look like? What do my rest days look like? What do I look like in the mirror? You know, what do I feel like after I'm done doing these exercises? You know, some workouts, especially in the beginning, are just a complete bust, you know. As you go, you know, you start to learn how to really get the most out of your workout. So at this point, I'm just kind of tweaking little bitty adjustments here and there. Like I was talking about the incline flies, like just adding those little accentuated movements and variations that can just give you that much more of an edge in our workout. So I'm gonna do one more warm up here to make sure we're good to go, and then go into our heavy set. Go into our heavy set.
So I'm watching. What are the chinks in this team right here, right? So we get toward the very end of this, I call it the combat standards test. And this is where it's getting harder than anybody really wanted it to be. They showed up knowing, yeah, it's going to be hard, we know that, but this is a little freaking ridiculous, man. And that's when I really start watching, right? So some of the faster team members, they finish first, right? And so I'm out
kind of left a couple in the tank on that one, just so I can give this last set the most I can. Feeling super good right now too. I've increased all my rest days. Whenever I was on the 75 hard program, you're working out twice a day. I don't have cardio in there sometimes, but I mean at that point that's not really the most effective muscle building type of regimen. I feel like mine is more brief and infrequent. I just want to expose myself to really heavy weight for a short amount of reps for a very few amount of exercises in a workout, and then have a bunch of rest days in there. I feel like I get stronger. I feel like you get stronger, you're getting bigger. If you're coming in here and you're working out whenever you're still sore, I mean, your body hasn't even coped to the stress you put it on, much less, you know, build the mountain on top and build the muscle. So I feel like the more rest that you get into, within reason, then you're actually going to be, you know, just getting that much more stronger, that much more rest, not as much stress on your body's resources, and it's just, I don't know, I just think it's all around better. So, needless to say, I'm on more rest days now, and I just feel better, man. My body's not so spread so thin. All right, we're gonna drive this home, one set to failure on it, and then we'll get over here to these next movements.
I mean, we ran a lot. We did 100 burpee pull-ups with a 20-pound vest on, bunch of heavy fronts. They're skilled. Those are skilled people, man. They showed up. They were able to accomplish all of that without injuring themselves, right? The last one. So we checked the box, skilled. The last one and the hardest one, but the most important one, is selflessness. And that's what we miss. That's what we missed this morning. If you are part of the team, and you guys, you're on a mission, you're trying to accomplish something, you have an objective for the team. Finish your job. Before you go and take care of your own little needs, Before you go take a shower, before you go change your clothes, before you go take your water bottle.
Got these good pre-exhausted. Gonna move into our heavier sets over here with the machine press. Doing all incline. I don't do much flat anymore. Really don't do any flat work. Just all upper and lower. And I can feel the connective tissue. You feel those ridges, you know, where they attach to the sternum. And dude, I can definitely tell that me prioritizing the upper chest is starting to build more connective tissue. I can just tell there's a lot more than there used to be. So it's definitely working. I've been basically putting it a priority for probably the last 8 months, but seriously being able to figure out exercise that really isolate it, probably last 5 months, maybe less. And also another thing too is I feel really good today, but the fact is I'm able to throw some more carbs in there. I'm still at about a 1,500 calorie deficit, or 1,500 calories for the day. But this was the day before I added a bunch more carbs in there just for kind of a carb cycling day. And dude, you can really tell the next couple days coming off of that you've actually got more energy and you're not so depleted. Started to notice too if I'm really low on carbs, and I'll have a lot of I want to say brain fog, but my memory short term is like I'm sitting here trying to think about stuff way more. And your body and your brain does run on sugar and carbohydrates break down into sugar in your bloodstream. So when that's depleted, you're depriving your brain of an essential nutrient that it actually needs to actually be more effective. All right, let's get into this here.
So when I confronted them about, you know, their selfishness, they immediately recognized it. Mm-hmm. and they rogered up, man. You could see it in their face. Yeah. It was like, dang, man.
We could do that better.
Yeah. And dude, they got out there, and then it became this unit.
I'm willing to bet that those people are probably, because I know who the best athletes are in the building, and they're our leaders here. So I know that lesson was a valuable lesson for people, for sure.
All right.
For sure. That was the reason I came here.
Another thing with those warm-up sets too, I mean, you're really wanting to, I don't know if you've seen me readjust on the bench, but the way I was sitting there at first had more of the movement falling a little bit on the lower chest. So just kind of getting to where on these warm-up sets, you're really finding the right range of motion. Like Jay Cutler calls them feeler sets. Well, I totally agree with that, dude, because like, you know, I'm just really trying to find and isolate the muscle in that movement. And once I find it, I'm like, all right, that's it. You just fucking drive that home. So basically, like, he calls them feeler sets. And I think that's I like that term, feeler sets. That's really what I'm doing.
I am in today, into becoming the person who I am today, is the fact that I have wanted things since I was 18 years old. I have decided to want things that are seemingly impossible. Do you understand how freaking stupid I felt when I walked into the recruiter's office as an ignorant redneck?
Okay. Last week I ended up my last set to failure on this exercise was with this weight. I kind of burnt out a little bit too much with the warm-up set, so toned it back a little bit on this warm-up set so I can bump up weight and just get that much more heavy weight on my chest on the last set.
To take my first physical standards test to get a SEAL contract, and I didn't know how to swim. The test was a 500-meter swim, and I didn't know how to swim. And what has led me to this point is the desire to...
It's kind of crazy that he's talking about what he's talking about now, because I was just thinking about with this, you know, all these videos I've been making, it kind of like, you got to definitely fumble your way through the process. Like, I just started. And from there, looking on a video, it's like, oh, dude, I need to get my camera angle right. I'll shoot a few more videos, like all my audio. And like, then the setup and my ranges of motion, like, you just get all this feedback. But the thing is, you got to start and go in to the process enough of a ways to where you can look back and actually have a hindsight on what's going on, and your hindsight's 20/20. So it kind of takes a minute of going through it to be able to look back and start connecting those dots. And that's what you hear him talking about. He's talking about over a 20-year span, but I mean, there's shorter chunks of time too. Like, we all want to see that growth and everything in our personal development journeys now, but really it can only be measured in months, weeks, days, and even years. I'm not where I was a year ago, but I don't feel much different from where I was yesterday. But those are such small incremental changes that you're not going to see them until it's like, unless you're logging stuff, you can see that progression. But looking back, you can definitely say, I'm definitely in a different place than I was last year. So it's kind of slow, imperceptible changes, but just good to be able to cross-reference your shit with stuff to make sure you're on the right track. All right, so heavy set to failure here.
But I gotta walk in here and I gotta have a conversation with you like a man, because I will never have this unless I come here and just touch it. And that's why I brought my team up here with me today, man. And my team's gonna leave here, and what they used to believe was possible, when we leave here in an hour, on the drive back home to Jordan, what they thought was possible before they walked into those 2 double doors right there, you know what? It's going to be different.
Fuck. We move over here to dips for our second motion here. See, now that I've pre-exhausted on those warm-up sets, I'm going to start going into these heavier sets a little bit faster now. Got the chest good and warmed up, isolated, got the burn, got the pump going. So at this point, we're going to keep that pump and just kind of coast into these heavy sets. We got about 3 more exercises, and then we'll call it quits.
Most likely. But secondly, the first thing you said about cracks in the armor, I want to make this point really clear, because there's a lot of young people that listen. There's a lot of people that hear you talk about running 250 miles and the amazing things that you've done, or the amazing things that we've done in business and that we continue to do. And they think that takes some sort of gift that is bestowed upon certain people that other people just don't get. And because they didn't get that gift, they think that these exceptional things are impossible. And what people don't really understand about me, and this is just real, I was telling Alex Rosie this morning on the phone, is like I
don't want to say that I've been going through the motion on some of these exercises for chest, because I know I've been getting good and isolated, but I want to start not necessarily shifting from really focusing on the top of the chest. I want to keep that there and all the movements. It's almost like now that I've got those down, I want to keep it down, but I want to start moving on to really learning how to focus on the bottom now. So like you're always kind of fine-tuning your process. Okay, I've got this down, and then I can move on to the next thing. So it wasn't that I wasn't hitting the chest. I just feel like I can get a little better isolation with the movements, and I wanted to deal with the upper chest first. So I feel like that was more of a pressing issue. Okay. I was going to talk about my fitness journey a little bit, and because here's the thing, man, if we are doing all of this stuff by ourselves, we don't always know if we're doing it right. And it's not until somebody comes along, it's like, oh dude, that's what I went through too. And it almost gives you confirmation on what you're going through, that you're moving in the right direction. You start to build up a little bit of confidence, but what I'm saying is sometimes you don't have anybody. Like I didn't have anybody. I just had to fumble my way through it and make sense of it. And finally, after working a plan for so long, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is working. And I can start to deduce whether this is something that's going to work beforehand, before I ever start, just because I built up that confidence with my decision-making process. But the thing is, I want to talk about my fitness journey and kind of how it unraveled, because I feel like it would just let other people who are going through those early stages know that they are actually on the right path. And it can help you if you know you're on the right path and you won't give up, because you actually know you're making progress. We get this set and then we'll go into what I was talking about.
The reason you're dissatisfied is because you have all these huge dreams and you have all these goals and you never execute. And so that creates this torturous existence that you can't move through. And dude, it's your favorite saying. You sent me this amazing painting that hangs in my office at home. It says one thing. It says 3 words on it. What's it say?
Execute, execute, execute.
That's all it is. That's all it is, guys. That's all it is. And I know we're in the new years. A lot of you guys are starting 75 hard or whatever you're doing. You know, we're going to start on it. We all encourage that. But just remember, dude, this is not about a week. It's not about a month. It's not about 2 months. It's not about 75 days. It's about life. And this is about executing day in and day out. And if you figure out and build the qualities within yourself to execute on a consistent basis, you will discover gifts within yourself.
Okay, I keep kind of talking about this, but we see all these successful people, maybe influencers or businessmen, people we admire that have achieved a lot. And we just see that finished result and we're like, man, I wish I had that. But if you pull back the curtains, it's like that duck. You see it casually on the top of the water. If you look under the water, their feet are going like crazy. And the thing is, these people look successful, and they are, but they're still fumbling their way through the process too. And if you were to look at all the mistakes they made and all the little stuff leading up to it, then you'd realize, wow, that's the process I'm going through, and make them feel more human. So I want to expose that process and show everybody that this is what's going on. This is how you do it, because if you see it, you're like, I can do that. But if you look at the end result, it's such a far gap in between where you're at now and where they are. You're just like, I can't do it. But if you got that connective, but if you see all the connective stuff that takes you from here to there, then it makes you more likely to stay on that path. But basically what I'm trying to say with that is, you see me being consistent now. You see me with my diet right. You see all that stuff. But the thing is, it did not start out that way. And the way it actually started was me getting in here, trying to go balls to the wall for a month and a half until I burn myself out, and then I'm out for a month or 2 or 3 months until I'm like, all right, let's do it again. The main thing is you just got to keep doing it. And so, yeah, like there's like this fine line of I'm going every day, I'm disciplined, my diet's right. And whenever I started out, I was going way onto the line and then way swinging really wide. But the thing is, eventually you start to realize, like, damn, I just feel better whenever I work out. Like, I think better. I feel better whenever I eat clean food. And then you'll get off track a little bit and then realize why eating clean made you feel better to begin with. And you'll start to sort all of this little shit out until, you know, those times get less and less and less in between until you're like walking the fine line. But this is over maybe a 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year span where you're just incrementally making changes and you're getting off track or you're getting back on track. But eventually you get to the point where it's like, you know, you just realize that you operate better while I stay like this. But it's just one of those journeys you have to go through to appreciate where you end up to the fullest and not take other people's word for it. Once you do it for yourself, then you know for you. And it's not speculation anymore. So, all right, this is the one I was talking about. I'm going to do more of the crossovers at the end. And I'm going to do this for lower chest. I may not end up doing the crossovers. Just kind of depends on what I think is the best range of motion. Pausing at the end, stretched position.
How the car you drive actually impacts how you operate as an operator in business, as a leader. And I had never freaking heard that before, man, because the way I grew up, it was like, a car's a car. It's a utilitarian type of thing, right? But I said,
I don't like it as good. I ain't going with it.
He's saying that. I know that is true.
That would be true too.
I know that that's got to be true, and I don't understand it, but I am going to actually apply that in my life. So I had me some side money that I've been hiding, you know, from the wife, you know.
And when you think about it, if you don't like it after about 2 reps, then why are you going to like it after 10? You know, and it's just start weeding out the bullshit real fast, all the junk shit in your routine, get down to the bottom of whether it's working, whether you like it, and fucking toss it if it doesn't. Process of elimination, do it real fast. If the workout routine isn't working after a month, why is it going to work after a year? You know, so you got to switch it up. And you know what? I actually feel stronger. I was thinking maybe it's the carbs that I've been eating, a little bit extra carbs. Obviously a little bit more rest days in there. But these last couple chest workouts, I've actually really just been pausing and in that stretched position and fully flexed in the contracted position. You're basically keeping more time under tension. If you've got more time under tension, then if you're resting out at the end, you're taking off a second at the end. And if you're resting at the bottom motion, you're taking a second off there. So you're basically, if you're keeping tension the entire time, then you're collapsing your time under tension, but it's that more greater and more intensity. So basically what I'm trying to say is I feel like maybe I feel stronger just because I'm actually doing a more accentuated type of movement for the pec now. And actually looking down right now, I feel like I've got more of just a handful there. So that could be the difference too, just thinking out loud, you know. But all right, this is gonna be our heavy set to failure here. We're gonna drive this home for everything we've got.
You know, the quickest way to find those people, become one of those people. And then they find you. That is the fucking game. Okay, you're all waiting around and you say, well, those guys won't let me in my circle. Those guys, yeah, because you're shitty. That's what it is. So you become that shitty. You get yourself in shape, you get some things going for you, you become a person of standards, you become a person of ethics and high character, and guess what happens? They come to you.
That's uncomfortable.
No, it takes work. You know, so people don't like that answer, but that's
Yep, it's a process. It's a process. Yeah, I thought about the suit thing too. You know, I do engagements.
It's different for everybody. It's whenever you see yourself. Like when I see myself, like I'll put selfies. Like when I put on one of my suits, I always post it. You know why? Because that's the true image of myself. When I think of myself in my head, you guys probably think of me sitting here.
Just drive one more set to failure with these dips here, just for that lower chest, just to drive one home as kind of a finishing movement. Not super heavy, but just good burnout and isolation at the end. And we'll be done with chest, we'll get into calves. We're gonna pretty much just go right into it here.
The important part isn't that it makes you feel good, it's that it affects your performance.
For sure, because I feel good.
Because you feel so with a speaking engagement, like, dude, I have tried this. Because I heard you say it, right? And so I did a speech to a large crowd just a few months ago, and one of my biggest speaking engagements I've done, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna wear the nicest outfit that I have. And I wore that, and it was literally the best speech that I have ever given in like I walked out of there and I was like, that's it, man. That's it. And you guys listen to this, man. If you want to sit around and whine and say that this is vanity and whine and say that we are materialistic people, keep losing. Because I'm telling you right now, this freaking crap, there's something to it. And I don't
Gonna change our camera angle for calves, and I'll be right back with you in a second.
100%, man. See, the Lord, the creator of the universe,
Been kind of keeping my volume a little bit low with the calves. Let's do like 1 or 2 little warm-up sets, and I'm gonna do 1 heavy set on standing, and then maybe 1 warm-up on seated, and then all out just heavy sets. So I'll end up doing 2 heavy sets to failure with 2 different exercises and movements for the calves, and that's it. Thought I had this all set up. Just kind of thinking about what they were saying on this podcast.
Without you as a human being.
Yeah, very easily.
Very easily.
I know so many people. I've witnessed this lots of times, and I could name names, and you guys would recognize. But I've seen so many people get in that place where they've worked, they're good people, work, and I don't want to discourage anybody because this might discourage some people. Because a lot of people like to hang on to their faith as a reason for doing nothing. They like to say, I'm holier than you because I'm doing nothing and you went out and did something. And dude, that annoys the shit out of me, okay? Because it's false. But I see a lot of people who are good people become successful materialistically and wealth-wise, and then let that become their God, so to speak. You know, none of the stuff that I have, I don't give a shit about. You know this is true.
1 set failure on this after that warm-up set. Call that good on standing. I just seen Chris Bumstead, C-Bum and Honey Rambod just started the Olympia prep for 2024. And it started like 4 or 5 days ago. I think the Olympia this year is like October 14th or something. So basically they got 3 months of prep time. And they were doing leg workouts. And it was actually glutes and hamstrings. And so I'm definitely probably going to use a couple of movements they were using in there because they looked beasts, dude. I haven't ever really thought of doing hamstrings in that sort of way. So tomorrow, if I remember, I do got a note in my journal, but if I can kind of put some pre-thought into it before I get in here tomorrow, then I'm going to try to execute some of those movements. And I don't have all the machines, but I think I can come up with some good variations and stuff that are pretty much the same, just different equipment used. But I don't know, I like seeing what the champions are doing and seeing if there's anything I can implement, especially with those movements, dude. They look killer. So definitely like to try them out. All right, one heavy set to failure here.
It is freaking hard, man.
Yeah.
And like, but you showing me and so many other people what is possible, it makes me want the. If I didn't know, like, if I didn't have that example, like, I wouldn't even know what to want.
Yeah.
Like, you've created something for me that I can see and I can say, I freaking want that, man.
Yeah.
But without you showing that, well then,
How would you know?
I'm probably gonna be wanting something that is way, way less than what I could actually have.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And
then you're going to be convinced by the rules of society that you probably shouldn't even have that.
exactly.
Just be a poor little me and take what you get.
And these dude, all this, you know, every time I come on a podcast with you guys, these cats right here. What's up, brother? These cats right here. They'll cut something between the three of us, and they'll post it, and it'll go freaking viral.
Yeah.
On Instagram, on YouTube.
Man, you know what he's talking about right now, like dealing with hateful comments, I think one of the most fucked up things. Now, I'm not saying everybody is out to help. There's a lot of different people making a lot of different content. But for somebody like me who genuinely wants to pass out what's made his life better, who's actually has pure motives and wants to actually help people, then whenever you get hateful comments, it's just like, bro, are you serious right now? Like, I've got the best motives and intentions in the world, but one thing that has helped me deal with dumb comments and just ignorant people is, for one, like, I know that the content I'm putting forward is true, okay? So if you dislike it, then that makes you you either just don't like the comment, and if you hit the like button, then it'll continually pop up in your feed. So if you hit the dislike button, then it'll get rid of it out of your feed, and it's just the type of content that's not for you. Okay, not all content is for everybody. But then the second group is like, okay, I know I said something true, but if you don't like it, then there's something wrong with you. Like, okay, I said you got to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. They're like, no. Like, okay, at this point, you're just a dumbass. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. So it was me reframing it into a position where it's like, I know I've got the best motives. I know I'm putting forth the best content I can in line with the truth as I possibly can. Good intentions. And if you don't agree with it, then that's actually a you thing. So it's not going to stop me from doing it. And one other point that I would like to bring up is, I'm the type of person who puts a lot of pre-thought into something before I ever do it. So if I've already arrived at a conclusion, I've already weighed out 1,000 different scenarios, and they've all reached the conclusion that, okay, this is the way to proceed. So if you think one comment is going to derail me from doing anything that I do, you just must be used to dealing with mentally weak people who don't actually think about what they're doing in life and are executing based on conviction and belief. So it's just like, those little dynamics about the comments is just like, it helps it just to roll off the shoulders so damn easy. It's fucking crazy. But, all right, we'll get into this set here. Just do one set to failure on these, and then we'll be done with it. I was looking at this movement, too, in the camera. It looks like I could get a better range of motion, but really, you just don't have much of a range of motion on this machine. I am hitting the top and the bottom while I do it. I was looking for if I could have a more proper form on it, but
think I just want to go out in my uniform one time just to kind of put a cap on this, and people would say, you don't need to do that. Just move on from that, right? But I just so badly wanted to be proud of something. As a 19-year-old man who had never done anything worth doing. And when I didn't even remember that until I'm telling this man, and this thing pops up, dude, and it freaking just hammers me. And I'm like, you know, having everything taken from me.
Jesus. Alright guys, this was day 81 of the spring cut. I really appreciate you guys who are following along with me, engaging with me in the comments. If you like the way that I take you through the workouts and the way I break them down, I just ask you to please share, like, and subscribe. If you guys don't like it, that's cool too. We'll part as friends. I do want to let you guys know that I've got my email in the About section on the YouTube page. I'm going to start extending some of my knowledge to you guys, maybe help you with getting your macros right or maybe a training regimen. That's where you can contact me if you're interested in getting a hold of me or whatever. That was day 81 of the spring cut. You got chest and calves, and we'll be back tomorrow with legs, either hamstrings or quads. I don't know exactly which ones yet, but yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, peace.